Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. Welcome to Law Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And yes, today we are early. We are early because I'm sitting here and I'm like, why not be early? So that's the entire story. That's all of the story as to why the show is early today. Because I'm sitting here. I'm like, why not? Why not? So, since we're early, I'm sure I'll be interrupted within minutes. Someone was asking if I got my TV from Best Buy or am I still full Karen? Nope. I went the fullest of Karens today. In fact, I drove hours to return the soundbar that I bought out of spite. The soundbar that functioned just fine. Would likely have been a great soundbar when I eventually do get a TV. But no, I will not stand for this tomfoolery, and I returned it. And then as I was driving home, hours to return home. And on my way home, I realized something. That I was in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, there is only Best Buy. There's only one. Like, that's it. You want to buy a nice TV? Like, sure, you can buy a trash tier TV at Target or Walmart. Yeah, you can go drop like $500 and get the entry level Samsung or LG or whatever, Sony. You can do that. But if you want their higher end TVs with more light, with better contrast, better color ratios, then you gotta go to Best Buy. They're the only place. To buy it at retail. Of course you can order it. I don't know if you guys know this, but Black Friday is coming. Like Omar in The Wire. Angry Baneling, go try to buy it from Newegg. You can't because Black Friday coming. They're gone. They're all gone. Amazon doesn't have. Well, Amazon had them. They upped the price like $600 on them because they're limited supply. Newegg doesn't have them right now. Samsung doesn't have them right now. You can't even buy them direct. So I have to wait. That's all. That's all I have to do. It's okay. I don't need instant gratification. But it is funny, right? I've made such a big deal for myself. And now I won't have a TV. So that's that. Why do I look so scruffy? Because I took a shower and I just, did that with my hair. I didn't put anything in it. I barely combed anything. So that's why. But yeah. So that's what's going on with the TV saga. Some people were asking about the TV. So that's what's going on with the TV. We're not going to be talking about the TV all day. Although I can sit here and bitch about TVs. Just 2 hours of TV anger. Happy to do that. But that's not what we're here for today. Today I have a sacred Patreon duty. And it's a Patreon perk that gets shared by everybody in a weird way. And that is once a month, a whiskey review stream. And so you can thank Patreon For me, probably being about to get intoxicated. Jay is bored. No. Not stoned. Just tired. So yeah, if you want to participate in the Patreon debauchery, you can do so at patreon.com/lawsplaining, I think. I don't know. The link's in the description. You can check it there if you want. $5 a month gets you access to the Discord. $10 a month gets you speaking privileges for Live Chat Wednesday. $20 a month. I'm not super sure what it gets you right now. Besides, you get to be called a cool director. There were some perks. They need to be reworked. It's always a work in progress. But yeah. Director D&D is on the back burner. It should be on the front burner. And I'm working on getting it there. But that's besides the point. This is all just an ad for the Patreon to say that the Patreon is the reason that I will be whiskey reviewing a whiskey I've already drank on stream, but did not give a proper review. It is the Alberta Premium 20-year. For the election night, Lost Bullets brought this whiskey to me. He brought it here. He might have also brought me COVID. I don't know. As revenge for smallpox, he may have done that. But I'm not sure. I don't think I have COVID. But this is a 20-year rye whiskey. It is a nice bottle, but in pure Canadian fashion, they take a 20-year whiskey and they do this to it. Come on. Oh, I wanted to do it the fun way. There you go. It's got a screw top. $20 years. You put 20 years into the liquid inside. And you put a screw top on it. Yeah, it's plastic. Here, listen. So anyway. Ah! So if you don't know how whiskey reviews go, they go like this. If this is your first time or last time, I don't know, whatever it is. They start with some sips. Some pretentious whiskey sipping occurs at the beginning. Some smelling, some sipping. That all happens. And then the next one is a shot. And after that, you don't even really care what you're drinking anymore. And these are all important stages of whiskey consumption. There's the initial, like, romantic part. Then there's the shot part. And then there's the part where you're just like, God, I don't even care. Just get it in me. Get it in my throat, please. Like a porn star would say, or whatever. So here you go. I'm letting it breathe a little bit. And then after we get into this whiskey review, we're going to be this is a very chilled out stream, guys. We've been hitting the election stuff really hard. And I have a couple election comments and election news things to talk about. Mainly Lynn fucking Wood. Lynn Wood. Uncivil law, did you see? Lynn Wood. I didn't pay attention to his lawsuit when he filed it. He's the plaintiff. He's the plaintiff. He's not suing on behalf of the Trump organization. He's suing on behalf of himself as a voter. Come on. We're gonna talk a little bit about that, but I promise it's not gonna be the bulk of the episode. Just gonna be me bitching about that a little bit because I'm just waiting for the damn Kraken, okay? Waiting for the Kraken. Come out of the water with tentacles, please. We're going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, which also involves Linwood. That's going to be on our minds. We've got some modern segregation going on. We had a federal execution that happened. On your knees, B? Nope. No, I have not had a drop to drink. Actually, I think I had one drink last night during the movie, and that's all I've had in like 3 or 4 days. Something like that. Anyway, we've got the first, or a federal execution that happened. If you remember, we broke the dam on federal executions a little while ago. They had been on hold, and they're no longer on hold. And Amy Coney Barrett's first case at the Supreme Court, sort of, was to deny the extension of this guy's execution. And we could probably read the depressing ass story of this man, and pour one out for the executioner, and maybe mail liquor to the executioner, buy that guy a drink for his good service to the country. Uncivil Law says a reward offered for information leading to return of one lost Kraken. Oh my gosh. Yellow Flash watch party Kill Bill 1 and 2? You motherfucker! Flash! You son of a bitch! Oh! I'm gonna drive to whatever third world shithole he's hiding in. Oh, you... Anyway. Oh, what a catch you next Tuesday. Okay, so another thing happened with the Supreme Court, by the way. The Supreme Court got their circuit assignments. We'll talk about what that means. It's kind of funny, but it's maybe not that funny. My state is a third world. Listen. Virginia is more blue than Minnesota this year. So don't even at me with my state being third world. Virginia is on its way. Woo, hey, what's up, RGE? RGE crew, welcome. I'm glad you are here. I love that guy. RGE, he's fantastic. But anyway, and then I've got just little stories, and then after that we're gonna go over. I don't know if we're gonna go the full 3 hours tonight, but whatever the show length. After that, we're going over to Twitch. We are gonna watch Kill Bill 1 and 2. We're gonna watch Kill Bill 1 and 2, and it will be magnificent. These are two movies I love very much. Even though I don't believe there's any nudity in any of them. Oh wait, I almost just accidentally did this. Let's do it. Let's do this. Yellow Flash, you liar! You did this on purpose. You're just trying to ruin my day. Okay. All right. Yellow Flash, I refuse to investigate. I certify that you did this to ruin me, and I refuse to investigate or recount my assessment in any way. So, too bad. I've learned that we don't even want to look into allegations of anything. All right. I'm going to start with this first sip of whiskey, then we'll do some super chats, and we'll get into this thing. Why would I play more Ace Attorney? I loathe Ace Attorney. Okay, here we go. So this is, for those just joining, this is Alberta Premium. I call it the 20-year rye whiskey with a screw top. This is a decent smelling rye. It does have a rye smell to it. Despite being aged 20 years, it does have a rye tinge to it. Is this a single malt? Doesn't say anything about being blended, so. But yeah, you can smell the rye on this. Rye smells a little bit like acetone in its whiskey form. And that's no stranger here, but I will say there is an acetone-y funk to it, but it's not offensive. It doesn't burn the eyes. It doesn't singe the nose hairs or anything like that. It's just the smell of it without the acrid sort of aspect of it. All right. Here we go. Ooh. Yum. Okay. All right. So as it goes in your mouth, you can clip this out of context if you want, but as it goes in your mouth and lays on your tongue, it's very mellow. It's very mellow. It has a little bit of sourness to it, but not in the same way like a Jack Daniel's does. You know, it's not that sour mash. It's definitely a rye, but it hangs out just fine. Not burning your mouth, nothing like that. Very smooth going down the throat. Has a nice sweetness that comes back up when you breathe. The aftertaste on it is pleasing. Again, it is quintessentially rye, like unapologetically rye. You can taste the grain in it. It's good though. It's very, very smooth. 42% alcohol, so it's not, it's not weak by any stretch, but it's also not a high octane whiskey. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I like it. It was the only pure rye whiskey in Canada for decades until Crown Royal brought out their Harvest Rye and everyone else came out with one. Also, Whistle Pig is AP. Whistle Pig is Alberta Premium. I prefer the Whistle Pig, personally. But it's good. Yeah. All right, let me read a couple of these chats and we'll get into the meat of today. And hey, Uncivil, what do you think about this? What do you think about YouTube throwing ads on videos that they say aren't advertiser friendly, specifically on partner videos? What do you think about that? I find it very interesting. It seems like it might be a violation of the California Unfair Business Practices Act. To me, And it seems like it may also violate the partner agreement. But I don't know. I need to talk about it with some people. We should get Ian Corzine on and talk about it. Oh, and I owe you a response. But I haven't forgotten. Okay. Hey, what's up, Ethan? How you doing, man? I gotta have you on the show again. Where the hell you been? Oh, I'm just making Cyberfrog and doing my own channel. Sure. Jeez. Good Lord, I haven't talked to you in forever. I need some sunshine in my life. Tell you about smoked apple pie. Yes, smoked apple pie. That's what I'm bringing to the illegal Thanksgiving. All right. Bad Vibe says, I just realized that slap is legal speak for sounds like a personal problem. Very good. Very good. I like it. Nick's Hex says, keep it up, Nikki. If you're early for the next 180 streams, you'll make up for the narcolepsy stream. Loric Project says, well, since you're early, it should be a good show. I mean, I make no warranties, representations, or promises to that. Patrick L says there can be only one Best Buy, but seriously, no Costco. No, there's a Costco, there's Sam's Club, Walmart, Target. They don't sell the high-end TVs. They just don't. It's a reality. Ethan, the reason I did a smoked apple pie, it wasn't eccentricity, it was necessity. Because my kitchen got destroyed by a burst pipe, I didn't have an operable stove for a couple weeks. So the only way to cook an apple pie was to throw it in my smoker. So that's it. It was pure necessity. I needed apple pie. The only place I could bake a pie was by putting it in a smoker. That's it. The Miguel of the Davila says, first super chat here. Hey, thanks, buddy. Welcome. Just want to say thanks for the content since this has been a huge help during a lot of personal issues. Keep being you, man. Hey, thanks. You keep being you too, and hang in there. Hang in there. Personal issues tend to go in cycles. And I hope they do for you too. Hope they go away. Thedius says, I would like to warn everyone that on Brazilian Black Awareness Day, Hugh MSM and Hugh Twitter just gave every white person, including the Asians, the N pass when all of them report a white man beaten to alive not by security as black man. Cheers. Wait, what? Gave every white person, including the Asians, the N pass when all of them report a white man beaten to death, I guess, by security as black man. Oh, so they called the white guy a black guy? That's great. That's great. Ampathos guy, I have the Weber pellet smoker, and I use their competition blend of pellets for this one. Try Fry's Electronics. I don't think we have a Fry's in Minnesota. That's great. Thedius, that's fantastic. Thank you, Brazil, for doing that. Frederick Little says, hey, Nick, what's your favorite whiskey of all time? Also, in your opinion, what's the worst tasting whiskey? Okay, worst tasting whiskey for me that I've had is, oh man, America Bourbon and Fuyu were real bad for whiskeys. I mean, they were hard to get through those bottles. Fuyu specifically was really trash. I think those two. I'm looking at empties. Fuyu was real bad. You want primo or no? I don't know what you mean. Oh no, military special is better than America bourbon and better than Fuyu. Military special scotch was better than both of those. It was, which is embarrassing because military special was not great. Yeah. Gross. I am contractually obligated to say Jack Daniels is the worst. My opinion of Jameson? Jameson's okay. I like Jameson Black. Hey, thanks, Wandering Souls. Hey, what do you guys think about this? YouTube, well, TubeBuddy, has suggested that I adjust my stream schedule, which I'm not going to do that. But they said I should be live streaming at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Central Time. So they think I should live stream 7 hours earlier. Because that's when the majority of my audience is actually on YouTube. Kazakh Ferret? How do I DM you? You realize I just returned $5,000 worth of products to Best Buy out of sheer rage. Yeah, no, make no mistake. I'm not planning on readjusting the schedule. The 11 p.m. show is the show. But if I add, I do want to maybe add some daytime streams, like 1 or 2 a week to start and see how those go. Right? DSP can stream twice a day. Why can't I? Famous Grouse? I've seen it. I haven't had it. Yeah, the closest micro center, by the way, it's in the Twin Cities also. It's 2.5 hours away. Don't you have a real job? No, this is it, man. This is it. I mean, I did just pick up a criminal case. Because I'm bad at telling people no. Bad at telling people no. All right. What should we start with? Let's start with the depressing stuff and then move into the better stuff, I guess. Yeah, Snow Bear Studio. I'm sure you're right. I never said what my favorite whiskey was. Oh, you're right. Favorite whiskey I've ever tried? I mean, my go-to is Lagavulin 16-year. Oh, yeah, Ken Jennings. There you go. Lagavulin 16 years, my go-to. It's not my favorite whiskey. It's just such a good, stable whiskey that's always available. That's good. I really like this 12-year Peg Leg Porker. Lagavulin 12 years, great. It's devastating. I'll catch you later, Nernieth. Have you defended any drug dealers? I needs one, hook a brother up. No, all of my clients are innocent. You know what was really good, though? It was the 25-year Dalwhinnie was really, really good. That was a really fantastic whiskey all around. I liked it. Costs way too much, but it's good. So there you go. So that's my answer for tonight. Malik Foxton says, "Hey Rackets, fixed my fraud issue. Here's your back-ordered grift money. Enjoy, good sir. Don't mind the fur and fluid. Just ignore that. I think it still qualifies as money still. I'd let it sit in the sun for a bit before you put it in your wallet." That's disgusting. Thank you. I never said happy birthday to who? Whose birthday was it? All right. Let's start with the first Linwood disaster and then move to Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay? So we're not going to this. Oh, hey. This is the that's the motion and memorandum. All right, hold on. Hold on. Here we go. So Linwood moved for a temporary restraining order of the certification in Georgia. That was denied. It was denied. He's appealing it to the 11th Circuit. Well, Mr. Rigsby Gaming, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Oh, we got to also talk about people are coming for my grift crown. People are trying to take my grift crown. They are coming for it. Joe Biden is the newest competitor, and he is working hard for it. Okay. So, here's something. We talked about Linwood's motion. We talked about it the other day. I do think that there are legitimate arguments in his motion. The problem is there are many, but one of the biggest problems is that he doesn't have standing to make the arguments. We're going to talk about what that means, but it's really, really important, and it has a lot to do with him being the damn plaintiff. I'm really pissed off I didn't pay attention to that earlier, because I would have been disappointed sooner. So here's the document. You can see L. Linwood Jr. is the plaintiff versus Brad Raffensperger. All right. Linwood is suing as a voter in Georgia. To have standing to sue, one of the most important parts of having standing is having what's called a particularized injury. Okay? If I'm going to sue you, you have to have injured me. All right? If I'm going to sue the government has to have injured me. Not injured we. And this is a weird, it's hard to wrap your head around the first time you encounter this stuff. Okay? Because it doesn't seem to make sense. Because we go, wait, if I'm injured, then I should be able to pursue a remedy. Sure, but if everyone's injured, you kind of, in the same way, you kind of can't. Because they can't just give you a remedy for everybody's injury. It doesn't work that way. So Linwood is suing on behalf of himself as a voter in Georgia. There aren't many more categories than being a voter that are generalized, or that are more generalized than that. If you are over the age of 18, you are a voter. That's everybody. Except for, various few people who have had their voting rights taken away. So, he sued as a voter. We're not going to go through all of this, but I want to go through this standing issue really quickly because it's pretty damn important. This is something that Lin Wood should have seen coming. As a threshold matter, the court finds that Wood lacks standing to assert these claims. Article 3 limits federal courts to the consideration of cases and controversies. Doctrine of standing is an essential and unchanging part of the case or controversy requirement of Article 3. It is built on separation of powers principles and serves to prevent the judicial process from being used to usurp the powers of the political branches. All right? So the idea is if something negatively affects everybody, then you vote it out, not rule it out with the courts. That's the short way to explain this. You vote it out. It's a political issue. Because they implemented a law and that law hits everybody, you got to vote it out because you voted it in. You voted the law in, so now you got to vote it out. You're not being particularly injured. Everybody's just got an outcome they don't like. All right, so no principle is more fundamental to the judiciary's proper role in our system of government than the constitutional limitation of federal court jurisdiction to actual cases or controversies. The standing inquiry is threefold. Litigant must prove 1, an injury in fact, that 2 is fairly traceable to the challenged action of the defendant, and 3 is likely to be redressed by a favorable decision. Wood must demonstrate standing for each claim he seeks to press and for each form of relief that is sought, and shoulders the burden of establishing each element. Injury, in fact, is the first and foremost of standing's 3 element and requires Wood to show that he suffered an invasion of a legally protected interest that is concrete and particularized and actual or imminent, not conjectural or hypothetical. To be particularized, the alleged injury must affect the plaintiff in a personal and individual way. Wood must demonstrate a personal stake in the outcome of the controversy, as a federal court is not a forum for generalized grievances. This requires more than mere keen interest in the issue. The alleged injury must be distinct from a generally available grievance about government. Okay? And then he cites a case that says a person's right to vote is individual and personal in nature. Thus, only voters who allege facts showing disadvantage to themselves as individuals have standing to sue to remedy the disadvantage. Claims premised on allegations that the law has not been followed are precisely the kind of undifferentiated, generalized grievance about the conduct of government and quite different from the sorts of injuries alleged by plaintiffs in voting rights cases where we have found standing. Okay? So just saying the law hasn't been followed. Well, if the law hasn't been followed for everybody, then that means that everybody is equally impacted by the non-following of the law. All right? So this is, and again, it's hard to wrap your head around it, but the problem is if the court remedies this, does it remedy him or does it remedy everybody? All right. Wood alleges he has standing because he is a qualified registered elector residing in Fulton County, Georgia, who has made donations to various Republican candidates on the ballot for November 3rd, and his interests are aligned with those of the Georgia Republican Party for the purpose of the instant lawsuits. These allegations fall far short of demonstrating that Wood has standing to assert these claims. Starting with his claim asserted under the Elections and Electors Clause, Wood lacks standing as a matter of law. The law is clear. A generalized grievance regarding a state government's failure to properly follow the Elections Clause of the Constitution does not confer standing on a private citizen, citing Lance and Bognet with the parenthetical quote, private plaintiffs lack standing to sue for alleged injuries attributable to a state government's violations of the Elections Clause. Their relief would have no more directly benefited them than the public at large. And again, I know this seems weird because it seems counterintuitive. It's like, well, if the public at large is harmed, then the court should remedy that too. That's not how things work. The court has to provide you a specific remedy. Now, that remedy could also benefit the public, but you have to be the main benefactor of it. Someone mentioned Roe versus Wade before. Look, securing the right for Roe to get her abortion was critical to her, not the general public. The general public benefited, if you want to look at it that way, benefited from her getting that right because they all got to share in the right. But the critical element was her inability to get an abortion specifically. All right. So just trying to explain this stuff. The next thing that's been touted a lot is this equal protection claim about the difference of absentee ballots versus mail-in ballots versus in-person ballots. His equal protection claim, Wood relies on a theory of vote dilution. Because defendants allegedly did not follow the correct processes, invalid absentee votes may have been cast and tabulated, thereby diluting Wood's in-person vote. But the same prohibition against generalized grievances applies to equal protection claims. Quote, the rule against generalized grievances applies with as much force in the equal protection context as in any other. Wood does not differentiate his alleged injury from any harm felt in precisely the same manner by every Georgia voter. As Wood conceded during oral argument, under his theory, any one of Georgia's more than 7 million registered voters would have standing to assert these claims. This is a textbook generalized grievance. And then quoting Bognet, voter plaintiff's dilution claim is a paradigmatic generalized grievance that cannot support standing. Put another way, a vote cast by fraud or mailed in by the wrong person through mistake or otherwise counted illegally has a mathematical impact on the final tally and thus on the proportional effect of every vote, but no single voter is specifically disadvantaged. Such an alleged dilution is suffered equally by all voters and is not particularized for standing purposes. Every voter in Georgia has the same impact from the unlawful activity. That's not standing to sue. Breck, kind of. The problem is I'm not going to go through it because this is a brutal opinion with an absolute teardown of Lin Wood. Like, this opinion rips him apart for his performance here. It's 38 pages of the judge kicking Lin Wood's ass. All right, he's not impressed. This is a Trump-appointed judge, by the way, before anybody wonders if this judge is like biased because he was appointed by Obama or something. This is a Trump-appointed judge. He was not impressed with Lin Wood's case. Now there's a ruling that all voters have been maligned, isn't it? No, it's a ruling that all voters have equal standing in this matter based on what Lin Wood has brought. That's all. It doesn't concede that they're maligned. It says that if they were maligned, they were all maligned together. So what Lin Wood would need to do here is this suit would have to be brought on behalf of, like, the Trump campaign, someone who suffered a particularized injury, one of the Republican senators, anything like that. Anybody who suffers particular injury from the not following of the law. An individual voter doesn't suffer from it. This is why you can't sue over taxes. Like, taxes cause you injury, right? They take your money. They take your money based on a factor that you don't really agree to. Taxes cause an injury to everybody because they take money away from you. And if you don't feel that the value your government gives in return is adequate, then you've been damaged by taxes. But everybody is damaged by the taxes. Everybody, it's not a particular injury to you. Every taxpayer suffers the same general damage. No, this would not be a class action. Again, because the class itself would still have the generalized injuries of non-class members. You just have to bring it on behalf of one of the candidates. Or maybe the Republican Party. They didn't do that. So, whether or not they will remains to be seen. But let's briefly talk about this, though. This is an affidavit, Exhibit Q, filed in this Georgia case. And I want to talk about this for a very specific reason. I've been talking about doom-pilling on their evidence, their lack of evidence, anything that they've been sort of failing to present, in my opinion, evidence. And I want to point out a problem. Rudy Giuliani talked about this at his press conference yesterday. He said, we're showing some districts with precincts with 300% voting, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, I don't know anything about where these numbers come from, like how they determined the voter estimates from the Secretary of State. I know what it says on the paper, okay? I know what it says on the paper. You guys can see what it says on the paper. We've got Benville Township, Monticello Precinct 1, Monticello Precinct 2, Albertville Precinct 2, Albertville Precinct 1. And then you've got the Secretary of State's estimated voter percentages. Here's the problem. This is Michigan numbers. All right? That's what they're saying here. So, from the Michigan Secretary of State pinpoints a statistical anomaly so far outside every statistical norm to be virtually impossible. There's stunning 3,276 precincts where the presidential votes cast compared to the estimated voters based on reported statistics ranges from 84 to 350%. Normalizing the turnout percentage of this grouping to 80%, still way above national average, reveals a whole bunch of excess ballots allegedly processed, blah, blah, blah. There were at least 19 precincts where the presidential votes cast compared to the estimated voters based on reported statistics exceeded 100%. All right. Do you want to know the problem with these numbers? I'm going to tell you the problem. This is for Michigan, but I live in Candy, Ojai Township. Actually, no, I don't, but I live right next to it. I think I'm in New London Township. Candy, Ojai Township is the next one over. Lake Lillian Township is 2 over. Houston Township is Houston, Minnesota. Monticello, Minnesota. Albertville, Minnesota. I drove through both of these today. These aren't Michigan. Now we've got Michigan stuff again. Michigan stuff. And then we're going to go to the... Here we go. These townships, again. Detroit Lakes isn't Detroit. Detroit Lakes is up by Fargo, Minnesota. These are Minnesota townships. I don't know what this data is. I don't know how they're getting these numbers from the Michigan Secretary of State. This is a big problem if this is the evidence they're relying on. Like, this is their expert. Their expert who is a software guy who talks about this stuff. This is the shit they're bringing to the media, too. This isn't just in the lawsuit. Their expert is testifying that this is Michigan. This is Minnesota. I don't know. Like, Rudy's talking about, there's 640,677 ballots or whatever. Well, we got 431,954. And then down here, we've got an additional, where does he say it? 289,866. He's combining these two numbers to talk about the Michigan numbers that they have. Breck, I know what the number is supposed to be, but he's got Minnesota counties up there, and he's talking about Michigan Secretary of State numbers. What the fuck numbers is he actually using? This is what we don't know. Like, here he's talking about Kent, Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne counties. Wayne County uses Dominion equipment where 46 out of 47 precincts and townships display a highly unlikely 96% as the number of votes cast using the Secretary of State's numbers. But again, these are Minnesota. What numbers are these? The problem is that big number Rudy's talking about is enough of a number to flip Michigan. But that number seems to be based on bad data, completely bad data, and obviously so bad data. Anyway, Linwood he filed this in Georgia as evidence of widespread voter fraud. And these are the numbers Rudy Giuliani is talking about and riling everyone up with. Anyway, I don't want to focus on this, but I got to report on it because we're talking about it. Been talking about it. I'm not going to sit and talk election law stuff. Just that. Are we sure it wasn't Wood that made the mistake? It's the affiant. It's the affiant who made the mistake. I'll pull up his name. Where'd it go? Oh, damn it. Hold on. Where did I just put this? Here. This is the guy. Russell James Ramsland Jr. My name is Russell James Ramsland Jr., and I'm a resident of Dallas County, Texas. I'm part of the management team of Allied Security Operations Group. ASOG provides a range of security services, but has a particular emphasis on cybersecurity, OSINT, and pen testing of networks. We employ a wide variety of cyber and cyber forensic analysts. We have patents pending in a variety of applications, from novel network security applications to SCADA and protection and safe browsing solutions for the dark and deep web. November 2018, ASOG analyzed audit logs for the central tabulation server of the ES&S election management system for Dallas, Texas, blah, 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 blah. So ASOG is the company. Russell James Ramsland Jr. This is the guy. This is the guy who made the mistake. Lynn Wood made the mistake by filing this in Georgia. All right. Like I said, I don't want to sit and focus on that. Let's check this out. Where is I thought Kyle Rittenhouse had his own Twitter. Maybe not. Where did I thought I saw it? Anyway, we'll pull up Lynn Wood's Twitter. Here we go. We'll pull this over. We're about to do the shot challenge. Not challenge, but the shot test of the whiskey review. Got a couple super chats to read. We've got Jose Gonzalez says, "What's up, Nick? Just came back from a 7-month deployment. Was a difficult one since we were out to sea with no port visits. And with the additional restrictions aboard ship as well. Had a pizza for lunch today. Damn near cried. Oh, man. I'm glad you're back, buddy. I'm glad you got to enjoy some land food. Sounds rough. Thank you for your service to the country. And enjoy. Welcome back. Welcome back. Bad Vibes says, okay, interesting question. Considering various issues, what prevents a class action suit against the government? One, suing the government tends to require permission. Two, it's the same thing. If everybody's injured, you don't get to certify a class of everybody. Doesn't work that way. For federal courts, the remedy is political. So, all right. We're going to move up. We're going to move up some stuff. Kyle Rittenhouse is 17 years old. Since August 25th, he has been a political prisoner. All Kyle did was try to help others and defend himself when attacked. We, the people, did not let him down. We raised over $2 million for his bail and a portion of his defense costs. We will keep fighting. Oh, just a portion. Okay. All right, Lynn Wood. Supposed to drink all of this. Well, to be fair, he posted bail today in the amount of $2 million. Here we go. Okay. Shot's good. It's hanging out in my mouth with a little bit of the bitter. Not like the sip. The shot's lingering. Lingering. All right. So, Kyle Rittenhouse has been, I will hashtag fight back. Then he says, in the midst of 2020, the people needed and deserve some good news. That news was received today with the release of Kyle Rittenhouse. I thank members of my 501c4 foundation. Fight back for their long hours and dedication. We could not have done it without the people. All right, so the news story today is that Kyle Rittenhouse posted bail, $2 million bail for Kyle. Here we have free at last from left to right, attorney John Pierce. I believe this is the guy that Robert Barnes basically lit up, said he was terrible. The Kyle Rittenhouse, and then actor Ricky Schroeder. Who the hell's Ricky Schroeder? And why is he there? I don't know who that is. Thank you, all donors, all patriots. Thank God Almighty. Hashtag fight back. Yeah, Mike Lindell, the owner of MyPillow, he's the guy who put him over the 2 million, right? This is a weird post. A few months ago, I pledged to you my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor. Many of you took the same pledge. We've been fighting back ever since. We are not done yet. Toughest fight may lay ahead of us. We, the people, will keep our mutual pledges to freedom in America. Cool. Just off the phone with Kyle, tears in my eyes. I listened as he expressed thanks to the people for your prayers, donations, and support. He prayed every day and night and said God lifted him up every time he fell. Kyle is a hero. So are his supporters. Keep him in your prayers. That's Lynn Wood. And then he has a Bible thing here. So that's the updates that Lynn Wood has provided. But Kyle is out on bail. That is good news. That is good news. Kyle Rittenhouse, according to the charging document, shouldn't even be charged. He is maligned daily. He's maligned by members of the press. He's maligned by members of the Senate. And he's a child. Why was his bail so high? Because he's being tried as an adult in Wisconsin, and he killed 2 people. That's why, in a high-profile case with a big GoFundMe, or well, a big donation fund, that stuff gets factored in. That stuff gets factored in. So, but yeah, so I've got a video. This will probably be infuriating. You guys want to watch it? Where's my playlists? Didn't I put this in? What the fuck? I swear I put this. Maybe I put it in watch later. Where did it save this damn thing? Oh! This is in the wrong playlist. Not this one. Sorry. Just doing some personal maintenance here. This video is 20 minutes. I don't think we're going to watch all of it. But I think it's important to remember what Kyle's up against. When I say that, I mean in the media. And let's see how they frame one of his victims. That's what I'm interested in. Where? F? Why are we saying F? Oh yeah, it got ratioed. Let's do this. Let's do this. Here, I'll unmute it. Here we go.
During a summer marked by protests for racial justice,
Can you hear the narration? What special needs class did they pull this narrator from? For Christ's sake, I haven't listened to this. I have no idea what's coming other than the description. Where did they find this person?
Kenosha, Wisconsin moved into the national spotlight in August
after
police shot a black man named Jacob Blake 7 times in the back.
I mean, Jacob Blake was reaching for a knife, had a knife in his hand when he was shot. He reached into a car while being told not to go into it. He resisted lawful orders. Everything about that situation was justified. Absolutely ridiculous.
Peaceful protests during the day were followed by rioting and civil unrest at night.
Oh, shocker.
Just before midnight on August 25th, tensions peaked when a 17-year-old named Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 36-year-old Joseph Rosenbaum. Moments later, Rittenhouse shot 2 other men, one fatally. Rittenhouse was arrested and charged with multiple counts of homicide. That's one too few, in my opinion. But right-wing groups have rallied to his cause, celebrating him as a hero who sought to protect Kenosha from destructive rioting and who fired in self-defense.
I don't think he's a hero who sought to protect Kenosha. That's fine. I don't find that heroic. What I find heroic is him not dying. The
events have become a litmus test for a deeply divided nation. A Washington Post examination of video and police records, along with other documents, sheds new light on the mindsets of the 2 people principally involved. One, a gun enthusiast who thought of himself as a medic. The other, a homeless man with a criminal record.
They're gonna make you feel sorry for the fucking pedophile!
Who was discharged that day from a psychiatric hospital. The Post found that Rittenhouse, who was too young to buy a gun himself, arranged for an adult friend to buy it with money Rittenhouse had received from a government-issued stimulus check.
This is legal. In Wisconsin, an adult can buy a gun and give it to a minor. That is legal.
The Post interviewed Rittenhouse.
As long as the minor is not prohibited from owning a gun by some other law, which in Wisconsin, they're not for this type of gun. If it was a handgun, it would have been different. If it was a short-barreled shotgun or a short-barreled rifle that have specific ATF tax stamps, different story.
Rittenhouse, who spoke publicly for the first time since his arrest. He said he did not regret that he had had a gun that night.
I feel I had to protect myself. I would have died that night if I didn't.
Yep.
The examination reveals new details about Rosenbaum's past.
These aren't new details!
On-camera interview with the woman who was his fiancée.
These aren't new details. Many of us were talking about this the days after the attack.
I don't think there's any sort of self-defense when there's an unarmed person in front of you and you're holding an assault rifle 2 feet away.
No, you got to just sit there and get beat. You got to just sit and take the beating and maybe die.
Kyle Rittenhouse lived with his mother, Wendy Rittenhouse, and 2 sisters in the northern Illinois village of Antioch, a Chicago suburb about 20 miles from Kenosha. He participated in cadet programs at the Antioch Fire Department and a nearby police department.
Looks kind of dorky there, to be honest.
He stopped attending high school and in 2018 began working toward his degree through an online homeschooling program.
Ever since I was little, I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a police officer or a firefighter paramedic.
Rittenhouse's attorneys arranged for him to speak to the Post in a telephone call from a juvenile detention center, on the condition that he not be asked about the shooting or the events immediately preceding it.
I do consider myself patriotic. I love our country.
Rittenhouse told the Post he routinely carries a homemade medical kit and had one with him in Kenosha.
If someone was hurt, Kyle would be right there helping you.
Kyle had ties to Kenosha, including a family friend, Dominic Black.
He also worked
Black,
there.
then 18, bought Kyle's gun for him in the spring of 2020, according to Rittenhouse and to statements Black gave police. Under Wisconsin state law, Rittenhouse as a minor could shoot target practice with adult supervision, but he could not own a rifle or carry it in public.
That is not an accurate representation of Wisconsin state law. Where's your fucking citations, Wapo?
I got my $1,200 from the coronavirus Illinois unemployment because I was on furlough for my FCA, and I got my first unemployment check, so I was like, oh, I'll use this to buy it.
According to statements Black made to the police, Rittenhouse kept the AR-15 at the Kenosha home of Black's stepfather. The stepfather, Scott Dickhart, declined to comment to the Post. Rittenhouse and Black used the gun on the stepfather's northern Wisconsin property. They plan to transfer ownership of the gun to Rittenhouse next year, Rittenhouse said. On August 24th, Rittenhouse went up to the Kenosha area for his job as a lifeguard. Rittenhouse told the Post he finished his shift at 8 p.m. and went to Black's stepfather's home where he, one of his sisters, and Black spent the evening. They stayed home, but watched live streams of chaos erupting downtown, the sister told the Post. In general, Rittenhouse supported peaceful demonstrations, his sister said, but objected to violence and called the rioters, quote, monsters. As the protests intensified that night, Black's stepfather removed the rifle Black bought for Rittenhouse and other weapons from his locked gun safe and placed them in the basement, according to police records.
According to police records.
There was guns out at the house, but we weren't like running around the house playing with them. It was just like anybody like broke into the house. There were shotguns and rifles at the house.
Joseph Rosenbaum moved to Kenosha 2 years ago.
Let's learn about Joseph
He met
Rosenbaum.
Carrie Ann Swart in 2019.
Aww.
He really, really loved me.
Why did he love you? You aren't a kid. Let that one sink in a little bit. Bad vibes. Was unarmed. One of the assailants had a pistol, a felon, and a second had a skateboard. Yep. We'll talk about that in a minute. Sure. But this is about Rosenbaum.
When he loved deeply. He loved
Oh
his
no! When he loved deeply. Disgusting.
You know, I mean, he was a very, wholehearted, genuine, put everything in, loyal. If your friend is in a fight, you're in a fight.
Raised in Texas and Arizona.
That's not helping his case. Look, if someone's in a fight, he's in a fight with them. Okay, so he's violent. We got it. Terrific.
Rosenbaum had a chaotic upbringing.
Very chaotic.
His mother was sent to prison when he was 13. A family member molested him, quote, on an almost daily basis, according to statements he later made to law enforcement authorities. While living in group homes and shelters, Rosenbaum began using heroin and methamphetamine. After a conviction for sexual conduct with minors at age 18, he spent more than a decade in prison.
What kind of minors? Was it like 18 and 16, or were they 11, 9, 10? Minors. Plural. Emuzid says, did the buyer of the gun have to lie on ATF form 4473 part 21A? Let's see. ATF 4473. Tell you in just a second. Oh, damn it. I just want to see the form. Okay, here we go. 21A. So 21. Answer the following questions by checking or marking either the yes or no box to the right of the questions. Are you the actual transferee buyer of the firearm listed on this form and any continuation sheet? Warning, you are not the actual transferee buyer if you're acquiring the firearm on behalf of another person. If you're not the actual transferee buyer, the licensee cannot transfer the firearm to you. Exception, if you are only picking up a repaired firearm for another person, you're not required to answer 21A. May proceed to 21B. Well, considering they were the, Black was the owner, and it was kept in Black's possession, his stepfather's safe, then no, that is not a lie, because the actual owner and purchaser was Black, and he maintained ownership and possession of the firearm. Now, he may have bought that firearm with the intent to allow someone else to use it, but he did not transfer possession or ownership in any meaningful way that can be discerned. We have no evidence that that firearm ever left the state of Wisconsin and traveled with Kyle back to Illinois. He can have every intention of transferring it to him when he's 18. That's fine. That's an okay thing to do. And yes, Kyle can give him $1,200 and he can buy it. That's an okay thing too. He maintained ownership of it. It was never given to Kyle. Kyle didn't exert full control over it and take it somewhere else, without Black's knowledge. Kyle presumably didn't have the right to sell it. All of the hallmarks of ownership were in Black's hands. So no, I would say no, they didn't lie. I mean, maybe they did, but there's plenty of evidence to support the idea that they're not lying about it.
A stretch marked by repeated disciplinary infractions.
Just a couple, though.
Records.
Just a couple
Rosenbaum
pages of them.
in Kenosha. For 7 months, he and Swart lived in a tent behind a shop.
Illegal.
Before they moved into a motel.
Woo.
When you live through such an experience like that with somebody, it's like 10 years. Like, I always say, like, if you can live in a tent with somebody and, like, not, like, end up hating each other by the end, like, okay, it's pretty good. You got a pretty solid future.
Rosenbaum
Did the meth and heroin help?
eventually proposed, but their relationship was marked by strife.
Kenosha 911, what's the address of your emergency?
On July 18th, Kenosha police responded to a call about domestic violence involving Swart and Rosenbaum.
Dude just basically went off, she's bleeding everywhere and bruises on her and...
According to court records, and
Come on! No way. She's out here defending him and acting all sad. Let's see. Upon arrival, Officer Bray spoke with, now they're moving through this real quick. Swart, who stated she and her boyfriend, defendant Rosenbaum, had just gotten into a fight. While speaking with Miss Swart, the defendant came out of the house and started yelling at officers and saying something to the effect of, "Just arrest me. I know that is why you're here." Officer Morrissey spoke with the defendant. Miss Swart told Officer Bray that she and the defendant had been engaged for approximately 1 year and have lived together for a year. Miss Swart says she was looking through the defendant's phone and located pornography. What kind? On his phone. Miss Swart went outside and confronted the defendant about finding pornography on his phone. Miss Swart said the defendant just went off and started screaming at her. What kind? Here's the thing. Child enthusiasts who are on the recovery train, whatever that is supposed to be, often have accountability partners and accountability actions. Like why he's letting her check through his phone, finding stuff. I really wonder what kind of pornography was located. Miss Swart says, just went off, started screaming at her. Defendant suddenly turned toward the shed in the backyard and began punching it. Miss Swart said she told the defendant to calm down and stop hitting the shed. Swart started to walk away from the defendant so she could go into the house. Defendant ran in after her, started yelling at her, getting in her face. Swart said she put her arms up in front of her to block the defendant from pushing his body against her. That's all we've got
Interviews
so
with
far.
Swart and a witness. Rosenbaum yelled at Swart and body slammed her to the ground.
Shoved her to the door and proceeded to body slam Miss Swart to the living room floor. Miss Swart said when the defendant slammed her to the ground, her ankles were smashed between the door frame and the floor and the door. Miss Swart said she was able to get off the ground and realized she was bleeding from her mouth. Observed what appeared to be bloodstains on her teeth and gums. It caused her pain and injury she feared for her safety. She did not give the defendant consent to hurt her. She's not yelling a safe word here.
He was arrested and 2 days later released, under order not to contact Swart.
He got angry at one point in time, suffering from untreated mental illness. So I'm not excusing his behavior at all. Yeah, it happened. Absolutely, it was domestic violence.
On July 25th, Rosenbaum sent this text message to Swart.
I'm sorry I fuck everything up. I love you. I'm sorry I wasn't a good enough man for you. Where you at, hun? I need to see you right now. Right back in the arms of abusers. Jesus Christ.
An hour later, he overdosed in front of a McDonald's in Kenosha. He called a crisis hotline.
I have a call from Med 4 and Truck 7. Med 4 and Truck 7 respond for an overdose at McDonald's, 7060 Green Bay Road. 7060 Green Bay Road, again for an overdose. Kenosha Fire Clear at 1655.
He was actually in ICU for 5 days, and they did not think he was going to live.
Rosenbaum regained consciousness and on July 29th was taken to jail for violating the order to stay away from Swart.
By the way, this is a fun legal thing here. If you have a protective order against someone and they say, I want to see you, where are you? And they come into proximity with you, you're still violating the order. Like, there's no consent to violate a protective order. That's not how they work. You're still violating an order. So if you ever get a women do this to men, by the way. Secret man tip. Just the tip, though. Women do this to men. They get a restraining order, and then they give something about how they need them or they want to see them, and then the man violates the order at the request of the woman, and then he gets tagged for violating a domestic order. So, obviously not all women do this. There are very valid reasons for protective orders for women. This chick should have had a protective order because he physically abused her and she was afraid for her safety. All that is legit. But the moment they say, come see me, say, nah, fam, you need to get that order dropped, B, or whatever. I'm not even saying they do it nefariously, by the way. Some do. It's a great tactic, especially if you've got a contested divorce. It's a great tactic for women to use. Get them to violate the order. You get more leverage. But, some people just genuinely, they'll violate the order. For example, I took on a case a while back. It was a criminal case for domestic violence. The state had imposed a restraining order against the husband. The wife never wanted the order. She never said that the husband hit her. She actually said the husband did not hit her, that she was never in fear for her safety, that she did not need the order, okay? So that's what happened according to the wife. But they put the restraining order on the husband. The wife was 7 months pregnant. 7 months pregnant. And she wanted to see her husband, but she couldn't until that order got lifted. Now it was a little more complicated because it was an order in with a criminal case, and the order was within the criminal case. So I had to get the criminal case cleared up before we could get the order removed. That was I'll tell you what, getting that criminal case dismissed was a great day. That was a great day. To see a husband and wife reunited, a very pregnant woman reunited when they had no desire for any of that to happen was really a good day.
He was jailed for 3 weeks. Rosenbaum was released August 20th and spent a few days at CARE, a local mental health facility, before seeking additional help at the Aurora Psychiatric Hospital just outside Milwaukee, according to Swart.
The man just gets out of a psychiatric ward and goes to a fucking protest riot thing.
Really just wanted to, stay on his medication, stay on the right path.
That guy, Mitch, I didn't say anything that's not available through public documents in that case.
On the morning of the 25th, the smell of smoke wafted through downtown Kenosha as the city braced for another day of unrest. At about 9 a.m., Rosenbaum called Swart and said he was preparing to leave the hospital, she said.
I don't necessarily think he wanted to leave, because when he called me and told me he was leaving, I'm like, really? He's like, I knew you were going to be shocked. He's like, I was surprised too.
That same morning, Rittenhouse said he, his sister, and Black set off around 10 a.m. to help with cleanup at local businesses. Rittenhouse said he spoke to the owners of CarSource, a used car dealership ravaged the night before by fire and vandalism.
Damn.
And I said, hey, if you need anything, let us know. I gave him my phone number.
Rittenhouse's group then went to a local high school to remove graffiti.
I love the profile that they're building. Like, Rittenhouse is a medic, trying to be a cop, firefighter, or paramedic. He's out cleaning up graffiti. The other guy is a child molester, drug addict, domestic abuser who's in a fucking psych ward for his drug overdoses. And they're going to try and make Kyle out to be the bad guy. You can't even make this shit up.
I wasn't like mad, but I was disappointed that they spray painted a school.
I wasn't mad. I was just disappointed that they spray painted a school.
And just cleaning it, doing my part in the community, helping the community I work for, cleaning it. It made me feel like I was making a positive impact on the community.
That afternoon, the mental health hospital dropped Rosenbaum off on a Kenosha street, according to Swart. He went to the police station to retrieve his belongings from his stay in jail, but the station was shuttered because of the protests.
Oh.
He went to Walgreens to get medication. The store was closed.
But he had at least his morning and afternoon dose of medication, so he wasn't without medication.
Rittenhouse's mother was growing anxious
about
about her kids being in Kenosha during the protests. She drove to Kenosha and brought Rittenhouse's sister home. Rittenhouse remained. In his text to his sister, Rittenhouse did not mention that he had bought a military-style sling for his rifle from a local gun shop.
A military-style sling? Really? You mean a fucking strap? It's a strap. Good God. Didn't tell her that he bought a military-style sling for the gun. Why would he? Why would that be a thing? Like, why would he need to tell his mom about the military-style piece of leather that goes between his man boobs and under one arm? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
A detail he later told the Post. According to Rittenhouse, he and Black made plans to help a friend named Nick Smith, who said the car dealers had asked him for help protecting their business against rioters. Rittenhouse and Black thought they were to be paid for the help they were providing, they later told police. Smith declined the Post's request for an interview.
Smart. Smith shouldn't talk to a goddamn person on the planet.
Leaving Black's stepfather's home, Rittenhouse grabbed his AR-15 and the new sling.
Ooh, the
Black
sling.
Worried about Rittenhouse taking the rifle, but didn't stop him because he thought it would upset his friend, according to the account he gave police.
I was
Good thing he fucking brought it.
going into a place where people had guns, and God forbid somebody brought a gun to me and decided to shoot me. I wanted to be protected, which I ended up having to protect myself.
What were you thinking would the evening would be like?
Remember that Kyle is speaking to them on condition that they not ask him about the shooting or the events leading up to the shooting. What are these journalists doing? Asking about the shooting and the events leading up to the shooting. Scum.
Just like watching over the business and like providing first aid for like minor injuries to people.
They connected with Smith and walked to the dealership, Rittenhouse said. It was early evening and the city was relatively calm.
That looks calm.
Rittenhouse said the owner seemed grateful.
He didn't really tell us what to do. He was just said thank you for coming out, protecting our business. I got all my medical stuff sorted, made sure everything was in line with my medical stuff, making sure nothing was missing.
A manager of the dealership declined interview requests from the Post and ordered reporters off the property.
Good.
Rittenhouse said he met other armed men and women who also suggested they were in the downtown area to protect businesses.
I'm not part of any group, so I don't know who they were. They're just complete strangers that were there to help protect the businesses with us, and they just came with us to help, so they just tagged along with us.
As Rittenhouse and Black took up their positions, Rosenbaum was connecting with Swart at the motel where she lived.
Connecting with Swart? Connecting, huh?
Lived and cleaned rooms. They talked for nearly 3 hours.
He connected with her and they talked for 3 hours. I mean, come on.
He's very apologetic.
I'm sorry I fucking bashed your face into the ground and threw you onto it. Really sorry about that.
He just really wanted to prove to me that he could be the person that I deserved.
About 9:40 p.m., Rosenbaum left Swart. She was adamant he couldn't stay with her that night, fearful he would be arrested for contacting her. Swart.
I mean, he's literally committed a crime by going to see her for 3 hours. Still in violation of a protective order. This guy is a repeat felon. Bad Vibe says July 18 of what year? I don't know. Nova Zero says, I remind you all this event is better with healthy dialogue. So go ahead, tell them what you think of their coverage and dislike the shit out of their diatribe. Thanks for giving us something to laugh and rage at, Nick. Hey, you're welcome.
Warned Rosenbaum to stay away from downtown and avoid trouble.
As far as that night, I have absolutely no idea why he was downtown. None whatsoever.
Because he's an unhinged, violent monster. He's an angry man who's a drug addict. I'm sorry, like, not all drug addicts are angry, but this dude has a fucking bad history. Of course he's a risk factor.
At the dealership, Rittenhouse.
And you just told him he couldn't stay with you. He's probably pissed about that.
Is recorded several times on video. Shortly after 10 p.m., he introduced himself to a citizen journalist who was streaming live to Facebook.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm Kyle, by the way. People are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way.
Videos posted online show Rittenhouse holding his rifle. He's carried
not,
his medic kit.
He's literally not holding his rifle. Right now. It's on the military style strap. He's actively not holding it while you're saying that there's videos of him holding it.
On his hip.
That's why I have my rifle.
Nobody was instigating me, and I wasn't instigating anybody else. Everybody was calm with me, and everybody was enjoying me. I was helping everybody. So what I noticed is if you show the people respect, they're going to show you respect back there.
Ready to defend the property.
Yes, we are. Hey, now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here. I'm an EMT.
Rosenbaum shows up in videos just after 11 p.m. He is shouting at armed civilians at a gas station.
This guy shows up shouting at people without any evidence of provocation.
And helping people push a flaming dumpster.
Man, the case for Rosenbaum is just going fucking great.
The images include Rosenbaum and Rittenhouse as they pass by each other without incident. Rittenhouse is filmed while standing on the edges of an armed group of men arguing with protesters. Rosenbaum, his shirt wrapped around his head, is looking on as well.
Back away from the business. Back away from the business.
Police riding in an armored car break up the crowd.
Not very
Rosenbaum
well.
leaves the area and is swinging a chain.
Everything is just getting better and better for Rosenbaum. All they have to do is just play this video in court.
Officers give water to Rittenhouse and those around him.
We appreciate you guys, we really do.
Rittenhouse walks away from the car dealership to offer medical help.
What a sinner.
You said get off the car. Yeah. Does anybody need medical? Medical.
What, yesterday or today?
Today. Dude, he just had up the gun. Talking about get off the car. Now he's talking about medical.
Notice how that interaction went.
Rosenbaum and Rittenhouse each make their way to a nearby gas station. Officers prevent Rittenhouse from returning to his original post. At 11:44, police scanners report people trying to burn vehicles at another lot owned by CarSource. Dispatchers urge police to use caution.
We've seen at least 4 people with handguns running around here.
2 minutes later, Rittenhouse hurries away from the gas station holding a fire extinguisher. He slows to a walk. Rosenbaum, walking in the same direction, begins to run towards Rittenhouse. Rosenbaum throws a plastic bag at Rittenhouse. Swartz said the bag contained items from Rosenbaum's stay at the hospital. As they're running, someone nearby fires a gun. 4 other shots explode, and Rosenbaum falls. 3 more shots are heard. Rittenhouse runs around parked cars and looks at Rosenbaum.
Look, you guys think that throwing your inventory is bad, but I remember EverQuest PvP, man. You had to start unequipping your equipment when you were about to get killed, because if you died wearing equipment, they could loot it, but they couldn't loot what was in your inventory or whatever. He was using pro gamer tactics, getting rid of that shit. Once he respawned, he could go pick it back up. That'd be his.
He calls black, according to court records, then runs away.
Keep the pressure on there, man.
Bystanders attempt to help Rosenbaum. They carry him to an SUV which transports him to the hospital across the street.
It looks like they got an injured person. They're thrown in the back of a black SUV.
What do you do?
Rittenhouse falls, and a protester hits him with a skateboard. Rittenhouse shoots the skater, Anthony Huber, fatally injuring him.
Nothing of value is lost.
Wounding another protester, Gage Grosskreutz.
The only thing of value lost when he shot Gage was not killing him.
Rittenhouse approaches officers with his arms up, but the police drive by him.
Five 6-9 PD. We got somebody down in the middle of the road. CPR in progress.
Dispatchers initially relay a description identifying the gunman as a black man.
Suspect, green shirt, male black.
Of course they did. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. By the way, I noticed a pretty decent reaction to my EverQuest comment. I'm always looking for people I may have known. I played on Aone Row. I was in the guild Rest in Peace. I'm always looking for people I may have encountered on EverQuest. So it was good times. Good times.
Less than a minute later, dispatchers update the suspect's description.
Verkus Games. You played Povar? My buddy was in Triton? I had two buddies in Triton.
Possibly white, green shirt, long rifle.
In Antioch, Wendy Rittenhouse said she woke up feeling uneasy.
I said, we need to find Kyle. Something's wrong. We got in my car and I drove to Kenosha. I was on Highway 50 by Green Bay.
Ray Day, I agree.
Around a little bit farther than that, probably by the Pick and Save, trying to find them, and couldn't find them.
Rittenhouse's sister texted him after seeing video of the shooting.
Uh-oh.
Black drove Rittenhouse home to Antioch. Rittenhouse's gun was in the trunk of the car.
We headed back home, and they were already there. And I got in the house. I saw Kyle. He was pale white, shaking and crying. We left. It was just Kyle and I. We drove around. And we went to the police department.
They arrived at the station at 1:20 a.m. Rittenhouse cried and vomited in the building's lobby and told officers that he had, quote, shot 2 white kids. Antioch police officers.
They weren't white kids. They were white adults. And they were also uniformly terrible. I know he doesn't know that. But they were terrible.
Officers went to Rittenhouse's home where Black was waiting. Black brought Antioch officers to his white Ford Taurus. They found Rittenhouse's rifle and Black's disassembled gun and took custody of both. Antioch police arrested Rittenhouse, and he was charged as a fugitive from justice.
Why is he a fugitive from justice?
Swart did not learn of Rosenbaum's death until later that morning.
I was woken up a little after 4 a.m. by the medical examiner. All she told me was that him and 2 or 3 people had gotten shot, and that some good Samaritans had brought him across the street to the hospital, and that when he got there, he was in a full code. They worked on him till 12:47 on the 26th, the following morning.
Swart found the video of the shooting in a Facebook comment.
I just watched him die in front of me. Like, I was absolutely devastated. I still am from that video, just devastated.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you're not going to get beat again? I mean, what? Damn.
How do you feel like now about having a gun that night? Or do you regret it?
No, I don't regret it. I feel I had to protect myself. I would have died that night if I didn't.
when I saw pieces of video of that, that's self-defense. And he needs to come home to his family. Where's the justice for my son?
Yes, preach, sister.
I don't think there's any sort of self-defense when there's an unarmed person in front of you and you're holding an assault rifle 2 feet away. But yet, on the other hand, you know, Joe, you shouldn't have been down there, you know? And that's the two sides I deal with. Like, what were you doing? I go between being...
What were you doing? It was pretty obvious. He was trying to injure. He was trying to cause harm to someone. I know the captions are out of sync. They got real weird, but he's trying to harm Kyle Rittenhouse. That's not a mystery. That happened. He threw something at him and was chasing him at a full run. Was he like trying to run up and give him a flower like it was Kent State or something? What the fuck are we even talking about?
Angry to just being sad. But mostly just sad.
On October 30th, Rittenhouse was extradited from Illinois to Wisconsin. He is charged with 2 felony counts of intentional homicide, 1 felony count of attempted homicide, 2 felony counts of recklessly endangering the safety of others through the use of a dangerous weapon, 1 misdemeanor count of possessing a dangerous weapon while under the age of 18. Rittenhouse's lawyer said he will plead not guilty to all counts. And again, this last misdemeanor, reading the statute, he's not guilty in any way. Black was charged with 2 felony counts of intentionally giving a dangerous weapon to a person under the age of 18, causing 2 deaths. Black's attorney declined to comment. And again, this likely, I'm guessing, let's see. Let's see if we can find the actual charge. Oh my God. Let's see. 2 counts of intentionally giving a dangerous weapon. Records obtained by the Jordan. Sit. Can we get the actual charging document? Oh, there's a fact-checking page. I bet this is good. We look at the fact checks of this. Trying to find the actual charging document for, let's see, Dominic Black. See if I can. Let's see. by the way, just for the record of law-splaining, all of these people talked to the police way too much. They've all talked to the press way too much. When you get when you're at all involved in any way with someone who shoots and kills someone else, you should not at all be talking to the police or the press. Don't do it. You keep your damn mouth shut. What is he even charged with? Fake. I want to see the statute they say he violated because I want to. Black told the police that when they went to his stepfather to get the guns, he was concerned about Rittenhouse having the rifle because he was not 18. Black thought in his head he could have stopped it, but he knew if he would have told Kyle no, he would have thrown a fit, the Antioch report states. Document. Criminal complaint. Is this it? Here we go. No, this is Kyle Rittenhouse's criminal complaint. Looks like illegal purchase on behalf. I'm getting different. I'm getting different. Oh, well, not working. I'm getting different reasons for his criminal arrest and charges. So here we go. Let's just finish this up. Only a couple seconds left. Oh, there you go. Boring. So anyway, that's Kyle. That's Kyle Rittenhouse. Not to be confused with Kyle Kashov, the other Kyle. AGK. Oh, wait. Bad Vibe says, as far as good press goes, the omission of facts and minimizing of others makes Kyle look good. They have to find outrage to even make a scratch. Morty J says, notice how the mother's on the verge of breaking down while the druggie's girlfriend is just meh. Makes you think. AGK says, if Kyle, like, he's known this girl for not that long, and in the time he knew her, he beat her and then overdosed on drugs. Not the best start to that relationship. AGK says, if Kyle ever gets that rifle back, he should Cerakote God's judgment on it for real. No, he should sell it on eBay is what he should do, and then buy a different rifle. Bad Vibe says, I think the map's compass pointer realized Kyle was under 18. Aw, gross. Gross. Why is that girlfriend defending the criminal? Because people do weird things when they are abused, and it's best not to try and understand it. Let's see. What other legal news is there? This. Oh, I've got a Tucker Carlson thing. I don't know if you saw this, but Tucker Carlson fell out of favor with Republicans really quickly. Here is what I call the bitch up video of Tucker Carlson. Are you ready for the bitch up? Here it is.
Last night, in a segment about voter fraud and investigations into it, we told you about Sidney Powell, the former federal prosecutor, and her claim that roughly 7 million votes were secretly changed on election night by rigged vote counting software. Well, in the last 24 hours since we did that, we've heard from a lot of people.
To be very clear, they have presented nothing supporting this but allegations. And they may have it, but based on the evidence they've presented so far, I'm a little skeptical. That's all. I'm a little skeptical. Tucker expressed the same skepticism, and he's been getting railed for it. So
people about that segment, including people in the White House and people close to the president. Like us, they have concluded that this election was not fair. Like us, they are willing to believe any explanation for what happened. Like us, they have not seen a single piece of evidence showing that software changed votes. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It might have happened. It means they haven't seen any evidence that it happened. And by they, we are including other members of Donald Trump's own legal team. They have not seen Powell's evidence either. No testimony from employees inside the software companies, no damning internal documents, no copies of the software itself. So that's where we are. Sidney Powell came on Fox this morning and suggested we may not have to wait much longer. I fully expect, she says, that we will be able to prove all of it in a court within the next 2 weeks.
And they have to, because they only have 2 weeks left. They're running out of time at a dramatic pace.
Well, as far as we're concerned, that is great news.
Yes,
if
they
Sidney
technically
Powell
have 2.5
can
to
prove
3
the technology
weeks,
companies switched millions of votes and stole a presidential election, she will have almost single-handedly uncovered the greatest crime in the history of this country, and no one will be more grateful for that than us.
So that's the, and I say the bitch up with all the love in the world. They got a ton of backlash for very honestly and correctly saying they haven't presented the evidence. Now, I've seen it in the chat already, and I know it's coming. Why would they present the evidence? I don't know. I don't know why they would. It doesn't matter why they would. Tucker's reporting that they haven't. They haven't. It doesn't mean they won't. It doesn't mean they can't. It just means that they haven't. That's the current state of things. That's not a controversial position. They haven't provided shit. Now, I hope they will. Tucker hopes they will. Believe me, Tucker Carlson wants them to produce all of the evidence they could possibly muster on the planet. They haven't done it. And here's the hard part. They are out there daily making extraordinary claims. Think about what they're saying. They're talking about millions of votes being flipped. 7 million votes being flipped in favor of Joe Biden at the expense of Donald Trump. It's the biggest claim you could possibly make. And it may be true, but they haven't presented anything other than the claim. Like, just trust us, bruh, is all we've got. It's Tucker's job to say they haven't, I can't verify this. It's Tucker's job for saying that. What's he supposed to say? Well, I'm sure they've got the evidence, but is he supposed to say he's seen it? Is he supposed to lie about it? Every day that goes by, and granted, this stuff takes time. I get it, but let me red pill you a little bit on this. Do you know why a lot of this stuff is being thrown out? It's because they've waited till now to bring it to court. So when you see guys like Tucker, you see people like me saying, y'all need to hurry up, they literally need to hurry up. Courts are saying you should have brought this sooner. Your claims are barred by the doctrine of latches, which means you should have brought it at an earlier point. They need to bring this, and they need to do it now. What's the rush? They have until December 12th to get a Supreme Court ruling. That's 2.5 weeks. There is no do-over. There is no delay. There's nothing they can do. Once December 12th comes and the Electoral College votes, you fucked around and found out. There is no more time. And actually, there may not be time on this stuff already. There are legal doctrines that go beyond the simple facts, which sounds weird. I know it does. It always does. There are things like latches. There are things like statutes of limitation. There are windows to file these things. Some of them you have to wait for certification from the canvassing board. Some of them you have to bring within 24 hours of certification by the canvassing board. Think about this. The Detroit Canvassing Board certified more than 24 hours ago. Now, they say they didn't. They say they didn't. But if they don't have a legal challenge within 24 hours of that, they may lose their opportunity to challenge it. This shit fucking matters. Like, it's not just us out here saying, oh, they need to hurry up because we want to see it. This shit actually matters to the legal process. And you can have a valid legal claim, but if you don't bring it within the legal required time limit, you fucking lose. You just lose. I also said Black did nothing illegal, but here we are, felony charges. Stop yelling. I also think Kyle did nothing illegal, but here we are, felony charges. That happens all the time. People get charged with felonies when they didn't do anything illegal. That doesn't magically make them having done something illegal because they got charged for it. This is the problem. I hope they present the shit. I really do. It would really be a fucking shame if these assholes were out there just grifting and promising and never deliver. That would be a real problem. That would be a real problem. And I hope they're not doing it. I really do. Because I'm still getting texts. Just $18 from every patriot and the Republicans win. Eagle loan. I'm saying they should show the courts. I'm not saying they should show me. I'm saying they will run out of time to show the courts. They can't keep waiting. They need to start filing these proper lawsuits. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. Yellow Flash 2 with a big chat says Bill did nothing wrong. I agree, Flash. Bill did nothing wrong. Low Res Boy, they will on Monday. We'll see. We will see. $200 studio. I'll read your chats. I see you. Says, why does Tucker deserve the proof before a filing? He doesn't. He doesn't deserve the proof before a filing. I don't care if he gets the proof before a filing or not. I'm saying they need to put it in a filing. I've been saying this since election night, or since the day after election night. They need to start putting evidence of this in filings. They still haven't done it. They still haven't done it. When they've put their alleged proof into filings, they're embarrassing, like the one in Georgia. They're not good, guys. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to warn you. And he says, Nick Tucker was mad that he didn't get to see proof, not that the courts didn't. People were upset at Tucker's entitlement. Okay, that's fine. I'm using Tucker's issue and his bitch up to talk about how fucking important it is that they file now. That they file literally yesterday or the day before. Like, in all honesty, here's what's going to happen in Detroit. I'm telling you what's going to happen in Michigan. The Republicans will say that they rescinded their vote to certify the canvass in Michigan. They're going to say that, right? And the Democrats, because there's two parties to this, are going to say, we have their signatures on the paper. They certified it. They can't rescind it. And then there's going to be a question, because they dismissed the lawsuit in Michigan that existed already to prevent the certification of Wayne County. They dismissed that lawsuit. There's going to be a question about whether or not they can decertify the results. And that will likely have to be resolved by a court. And they may miss the window to ask the question because they dismissed the lawsuit on the issue. And they typically, in most states, have 24 to 48 hours to file that lawsuit after the canvassing board certifies or refuses to certify or the deadline lapses. They may have actually missed that deadline. And if they miss the deadline, it doesn't matter if they have 100% proof of the claim, they missed the deadline. This matters. This all matters. They did not sign anything. It was copied. You have to argue that in court. You have to argue that in the court. If you don't file it, you can't argue it. You lose. All right. Anyway, this is the Tucker moment that I wanted to cover. What else did I have? Oh, this is different. This is fun. This is completely unrelated to any of this election shit, because I need a break from it, because I'm getting too fucking pissed off at the lawyers running this show, or not running the show as it. Classical Positioning says, hopefully we all agree the Democrats built this fraud machine through the year, used Joe as a sleeper, and Trump was convinced he had it all in the bag. They will not ever restore faith in our election process if Trump fails. Skaki Onsai says, Nick, I'm sorry to tell you, but you really suck at predictions. What prediction did I make? I haven't made a prediction on it. I said they need to put this shit down. There's a lot more behind the scenes that you don't know. Stop the blackpilling, doom-pilling, and understand Powell, Giuliani, and Ellis have a better plan. You better fucking hope they have a better plan. The better plan than the one they're executing, not the one I'm even talking about. Trust the fucking plan. I keep hearing it. Put the plan on paper. I haven't made a prediction. I'm telling you the risks. Jesus fucking Christ, Sakaki. Remember your prediction about Washington State? Let's not talk about predictions here, pal. All right. Face mask trial. Didn't stop coronavirus spread, but it shows why more mask wearing is needed. I just did in Michigan? No, I didn't make a prediction. I said there's a risk that they might have a window of 24 to 48 hours because that's what most states are. I'm warning you. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really do. BK says, no, Nick, you don't get it. If you say they got to do what the law says, you're predicting something, somehow also go on EFAP, you nerd. I'd love to go on EFAP. I'd love to. I'd love to. Back in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers in Denmark decided to conduct an unusual experiment. An usual experiment. I think they mean unusual. To test the infection-fighting power of face masks, the same way they'd evaluate a potential vaccine or drug. At the time, mask use was not recommended by Danish health authorities, and fewer than 5% of residents used them outside of hospital settings. Those conditions made it possible to conduct the first and only randomized controlled trial of the face coverings. The researchers recruited more than 6,000 volunteers from around the country. Eagle Loan, stop it. For fuck's sake, stop it. Michigan legislators can disqualify the vote. The two head Republicans have already indicated that they have no intention of doing so. The remedy, do you realize what would happen? Do you understand the implications of this? Researchers recruited more than 6,000 volunteers from around the country who spent at least 3 hours each day with people from other households and didn't wear masks for their jobs. About half of these volunteers were chosen at random to receive 50 surgical face masks and were asked to wear them whenever they left home for the next month. The other half did not get masks and served as controls. Overall, 95 of the 4,862 volunteers who made it to the end of the study became infected with SARS-CoV-2, the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. That's an infection rate of just under 2%. But no matter how the researchers sliced and diced their data, they could not find a strong signal that the volunteers in the mask group were more protected than their counterparts in the control group. In a typical clinical trial, this is the point where researchers would say their intervention didn't work. But in this case, the investigators went the other way. Remember what the headline is. Face mask trial didn't stop coronavirus spread, but it shows why more mask wearing is needed. The problem, they said, wasn't the masks. The problem was that people didn't use masks enough. So they have clinical fucking studies showing that the masks don't appreciably reduce the spread of COVID, and their actual conclusion is, well, but more masks would. The study results should not be used to conclude that a recommendation for everyone to wear masks in the community would not be effective in reducing SARS infections, wrote the team led by researchers from Copenhagen University Hospital. A trio of current and former editors of Annals of Internal Medicine, the journal that published the study, went further. Masks likely need to be worn by most, if not all, people to reduce community infection rates. The results of this trial should motivate widespread mask wearing to protect our communities and thereby themselves. Why? Why should the results, which show that mask use doesn't reduce the spread, encourage people to wear masks? It's not as if there's no reason to believe face masks can prevent the spread of COVID-19, scientists say. Coronavirus moves from person to person mainly through the air, either on respiratory droplets or smaller aerosolized particles. If either of these makes their way into the respiratory tract, an infection could take off. Widespread mask use is credited with keeping the COVID-19 death toll in the double digits in places such as New Zealand, Singapore, and Vietnam. In Taiwan, number 1, where officials ramped up mask production just a few weeks after the WHO announced the existence of the novel coronavirus. Only 7 people have died of COVID-19. Taiwan, literally number 1. Literally number 1. Use of face masks has emerged as a powerful tool to reduce the health and economic harms of the pandemic. Dr. Thomas Frieden, a former CDC director who now leads the nonprofit health initiative Resolve to Save Lives, and his colleague Dr. Shama Cash Goldwasser. Cash Goldwasser? The name is literally Cash Goldwasser. Wrote in a commentary that accompanied the study. If masks work so great, why did they make so little difference in Denmark? The study authors and their allies offer multiple explanations. Trial was conducted in 2 waves, with the first group testing between April 14th and May 15th, and the second group between May 2nd and June 2nd. During most of that time, until May 18th, restaurants and cafes in the country were closed. Stores were open and public transportation was operational, but customers were advised to maintain social distancing. In addition, there were limits on social gatherings as well as visits to hospitals and nursing homes. With all these measures in place, the added benefit of wearing masks might be negligible when the community prevalence of the virus is low, the researchers wrote. Literally making it up. They don't know. They don't actually know. Might be negligible. At the time of the study, the daily incidence of new infections was 4 times lower in Denmark than it was in the U.S. Masks are believed to help in 2 ways. Although they can protect wearers from the incoming germs, their primary benefit is their ability to prevent the wearer's germs from spreading to others. As few Danish residents were wearing masks during the study period, volunteers were mostly exposed to maskless people who could spread the virus easily. And that was true regardless of whether they were randomly assigned to wear a mask or not. Another problem is that people assigned to wear masks often chose not to. Only 46% of volunteers in the mask group told the researchers they followed all the rules about wearing masks in public. 47% said they predominantly wore their masks, and 7% said they didn't follow the rules. Here's the problem. You're not going to get anyone with 100% use. You won't. I'm going to read this chat out of order because it's right on point. Kalinka says, they say that masks helped here, but it wasn't. Most people stayed the F home and avoided going out per the alert level guidelines, SMDH. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this because it's not related to the election, but they have a clinical study showing that masks don't work, and then they concluded that because of that, more masks are needed. So that was great. It's not that they say in spite of the study. It's that they say because of the study. That's what we want. Okay, let's talk about the new circuit assignments. And then we'll do Super Chats, wrap up, and go watch Kill Bill 1 and 2. All right, circuit assignments. So it is ordered now. The following allotment be made of the Chief Justice and the Associate Justices of the Court among the circuits pursuant to Title 28 U.S.C. Section 42. Such allotment be entered of the record. Okay, John Roberts gets District Court of Columbia. Stephen Breyer gets the First Circuit. Sotomayor gets the Second Circuit. Samuel Alito, Third Circuit. John Roberts, Fourth Circuit. Samuel Alito, Fifth Circuit. Kavanaugh, Sixth. Amy Coney Barrett, Seventh. Kavanaugh, 8th. Kagan, 9th. Gorsuch, 10th. Thomas, 11th. And John Roberts for the Federal Circuit. Now, if you notice, Clarence Thomas gets Georgia. Let's see. Kagan gets Arizona. Kavanaugh gets Missouri. Oh, wait, no. That doesn't fucking matter. Hold on. Amy Coney Barrett gets Wisconsin. Kavanaugh gets Ohio here. Who gets Pennsylvania? I can't remember. Alito, Pennsylvania. And that's what? That's the swing states. Georgia. Georgia. And none of these matter. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are now held by conservative justices. What does this mean? What does it mean? I will refer to SCOTUS blog to explain it. Amy Howe. Amy Howe is the one who will explain this. A circuit justice is primarily responsible for emergency requests, for example, an application to block an execution or to allow it to go forward from the geographic area covered by his or her circuit, as well as more mundane matters such as requests to extend filing deadlines. However, justices can and often do refer significant emergency requests to the full court, a role that has taken on increased importance in recent years with the sharp uptick in activity on the court's shadow docket. A map of geographical regions covered by each circuit is available here. All right. So, this is a normal routine thing. Whenever there's a new person placed on the court, they reassign the circuits to the Supreme Court justices. However, the 4 swing states have now been assigned to conservative members of the court. The only swing state that did not get assigned to a conservative member is Arizona, which went to Elena Kagan. All of the motions coming out of these courts will be done by emergency or accelerated motion, and then, therefore, the justices in charge will be the ones who refer it to the court for review on an emergency basis. So that's actually some good news. Will it end up mattering? It remains to be seen. But if it does end up mattering, it's good news. Who made the decision? The Supreme Court did. The Supreme Court divvies it up. Now, most of these people are actually assigned to circuits that they came from. Let's see. Kavanaugh, I think, is from one of these states. I can't remember. One. Amy Coney Barrett sat on the 7th Circuit Court. Alito is from one of they largely come from the districts that they're overseeing. Who has New York? Sotomayor is from the New York court, I believe. Whoever has Colorado sat on the Colorado court for like 7 years. Gorsuch, they kind of put them in charge of the circuits that they're familiar with. That's probably strategic. If they're familiar with that circuit's appellate law from their time there, they'll be familiar with whether or not, presumably more familiar with whether or not they should grant review. Okay, there was one more thing I wanted to cover. Oh, yes! I'm being challenged. I'm being challenged for Grifter title. For the Grifter Champion of the World. Let's see if we can hold up. Oh, this is beautiful. I wish I could grift as hard as Joe Biden. I really do. Here's the deal, says Joe. Because President Trump refuses to concede and is delaying the transition, we have to fund it ourselves and need your help. If you're able, chip in to help fund the Biden-Harris transition. Look at how uncomfortable she looks just at life. Good job, Crip Daddy. Yikes. Oh my gosh. How did you get the top tweet on there? So they don't have the amount that they've raised. I was hoping they would have the amount that they raised. During these unusual times, your support is appreciated more than ever before. Contribution to the Biden-Harris transition will help us lay the foundation to lead a just and equitable recovery that builds an economy for the future. Thank you for your generosity and continued support as we prepare to build our nation back better. What does that have to do with transitioning early into the White House? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. I read a news article today that said that Joe Biden not only won the popular vote, but he won the Electoral College vote. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking weird because I haven't seen them vote yet. So how did he win that vote? How do you win a vote that hasn't occurred? Don't know. I don't know. Well, we might as well finish off with the feel-good story of the day. The feel-good story of the day. Drug trafficker executed for kidnapping and raping teenager, burying her alive. Marijuana trafficker. Damn it, Doug TenNapel! Convicted of kidnapping and raping a teen and then burying her alive, was executed this week at an Indiana prison, becoming the 8th federal inmate to die this year. Orlando Cordia Hall, 49, was put to death via lethal injection late Thursday. Federal Correctional Complex in Terre Haute, where he was pronounced dead at 11:47 p.m. They're courteous. They always murder people at night. I shouldn't say murder. That was a joke. It's a joke. This guy deserved every single ounce of lethal injection that he got, and I hope he got a couple other injections before he died. He's a piece of shit. He sucks. Okay? Court documents show Hall, who ran a marijuana trafficking operation in Arkansas with several accomplices, drove to Arlington, Texas in September of 1994 after a botched drug deal worth $4,700. Prosecutors said Hall and his accomplices went to the man's home because they thought he stole their money and instead kidnapped his 16-year-old sister, Lisa Renee, after she refused to let them inside. Hall then raped the teen, an honors student and aspiring doctor, in a car and later drove her to a hotel in Arkansas, where he and his accomplices bound and repeatedly raped her, prosecutors said. Following morning, Hall said the teen had known too much and took her to a park where he and another man dug a grave earlier that afternoon, but they were unable to find the grave. They were unable to find the grave that they dug. One day later, on September 26, Hall and 2 other men took the teen to Bird Natural Lake area in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where Hall placed a sheet over her head and whacked her with a shovel, prosecutors said. Renee screamed and tried to run away, but the men tackled her and took turns beating her with the shovel, the Justice Department said in a statement. After soaking her with gasoline, they dragged her into the grave and buried her alive. Federal jury convicted Hall in 1995 of kidnapping resulting in death and unanimously sentenced him to die by lethal injection. In his final statements, Hall encouraged others to become followers of Islam. Thank you for giving me this opportunity for forgiveness, Hall said. Thank everyone who's here, my family and my loved ones. I loved you. I love you. Hall also had one final message for his children. I'm okay, he said. Take care of yourself. Tell my kids I love them. So there you go. I won't read any other stuff. They tried to get Amy Coney Barrett voted against delaying his execution. That's why he died. They tried to get his execution delayed because his jury was white. Not because he wasn't guilty. Not because he didn't do it, but because his jury was white. Let me suggest something. The white jury didn't give a fuck what his color was. They cared for the fact that he raped and buried someone alive. One of the worst things you can do to someone, in my opinion. Absolutely terrifying. The idea that you would bury someone alive. I think that probably mattered way more than anything else, if I had to guess. All right, and the final story of the day. I retweeted this. I said, whoa. Christopher F. Rufo says, this is racial segregation in 2020. King County, Washington library system is holding separate but equal training sessions for its employees, all in the name of social justice. It's time for the Justice Department to put a stop to this madness. This is diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI session. People who are white, people of color. They have 2 different rooms, 2 separate but equal rooms for the participants. So there you go. It's come full circle. They're pro-segregation. They want separate but equal. This hasn't been a secret. I mean, it's been the past couple years, and it's escalating and escalating and escalating. They want this. They want this. They want racial segregation. So, anyway, that's that. All right. All right. All of the pilling is over. Mike says surgical masks aren't supposed to protect the wearer. They're supposed to protect other people from the wearer's breath. That study sounds useless. They should have used N95 masks and not surgical masks. Lame. It's all useless, buddy. That's the real rub. It's all useless. None of this shit matters. What's effective might be the social distancing itself. Mask mandates. Unless you've got everybody doing it, it's not going to matter. And not everybody's going to do it. Statistically impossible. I shouldn't say impossible. Improbable. Improbable. All right. Okay, I'm going to read these chats. We're going to go to Twitch and do Kill Bill. So I can get my mind off this fucking depressing topics. I hate arguing with you guys, by the way. I really do. I shouldn't do it. I hate it. It makes me feel like shit. But here we are. Weird times. Crusader Saracen says, important question, Nick. What is your favorite pie for Thanksgiving? Or really any time, I guess. Apple. I only like apple pie. I don't like other pie. If you answer wrong, then may Allah bring dark hours and disasters upon you. I don't like any other pie. So if I'm wrong, then Allah will have to punish me. Malik says, hey, oh wait, I read that one. Night of Hopex says, he loved that lady because her gigantic head is shaped like an infant. Oh, gross. God damn it. Mr. Schwagen says, when a lawyer makes arrangements for his clients to talk to media with conditions, do they sign paperwork or is it a gentleman's agreement? It could go both ways, frankly. And when are you going to grift on the executive order Trump signed about the election meddling? As soon as I think it might matter. Malik Foxon says, if you're willing to accept the idea that legal votes get cut off because someone missed the deadline, we got to be willing to accept the idea that Trump's team missed the legal deadline to file legit claims of voter fraud to be consistent. I don't know if they've missed the deadline. I'm talking about the dangers of it. Talking about the dangers of it. I'm really, really frustrated that they dismissed the Wayne County case. I don't think rescinding it is valid. And even if it is valid, I don't think the other people will say it's valid. Therefore, it's a contested issue, and I'm worried. I'm worried, guys. I say all of this out of worry. Fuzzy says, I am not a lawyer, but I imagine it can get where everything's provable, but the courts can't do a damn thing because the appropriate thing isn't before them. No legal option left. Then you're left with convincing Congress. That's a tall, tall order. Tall order. Mr. Schwagen says, here's a clinical study on how sunshine deactivates 90% of the coof in air. What do the government want? Lockdown inside your house. Thank you. Silky Johnson says, hey, Nick, I'm just listening to you and practicing my parry skills on Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Great. Classic Street Fighter game. If I sent you a Dreamcast and games that fell off a pirate ship, would that be an issue if you streamed playing them? I would not admit to any games being off of a pirate ship. The only issue is, does the Dreamcast have an HDMI out? Otherwise, I don't know how I could stream playing them. Kermit the Frog says, what will he think then? The same lonely desert was the last known home of the Manson family. Will he make the grim connection when my attorney starts screaming about bats and huge manta rays coming down on the car? What? My voice actually hurts today, guys, because I was screaming at my Discord earlier while driving. I was screaming at them because they kept saying that I sounded like a robot or that T-Pain was my audio engineer and stuff like that. Silky Johnson says, Nick, I've noticed that since Hulk Hogan stopped being the real American, talking about the prayers and vitamins in the 24-inch pythons, brother, America has been in a slow decline. So we need to Hulk up and start leg dropping all these commies, brother. I agree. Would you drop a client if they revealed info to the press? No, I'd scream at them. The black pill on clients is that they always talk when they're not supposed to. Mario Carter 13 says Kyle is out on Bondo. That's a used car joke. It is, but apparently he didn't post a bond. It seems like they posted the full $2 million in cash. Uncivil Law says reward offered for information leading to the return of one lost Kraken. He says also Lynn Wood is best wood. Lol. Fenrir Lycros says thanks for agreeing to give a review of the pens to put on the site. The ones I sent are the lemon pens. Buddy, email or direct message me so I know where to send a review. Alex Ghost says, what's up, Nick R? I'll catch you on the replay. Hey, thanks, buddy. Funny Valentine 2020 says, yo, Nick, in Georgia, not sure how I feel about the audit. Yeah, I mean, seemed like just a run-of-the-mill recount. Yep, it was. Does Trump have any chance in Georgia then? Also, what you recommend for whiskey, bourbon beginners like myself? I thought I was done pilling. Trump has a chance in Georgia. He's within the margin to ask for a real recount. Audits are different than recounts. If they can get a recount and simultaneously / similarly enforce the rules about being able to challenge ballots, then maybe they can do it. Maybe they can. Otherwise, Lynn Wood's lawsuit, he's appealing it, but I think it's probably dead in the water. They need to get a proper lawsuit on point. They need to bring evidence of massive voter fraud sufficient to overturn the election. And they need to put that not in Michigan. They need to put Georgia evidence in Georgia. If they've got Dominion up their sleeve, they need to bring it, and they need to do it soon. It's a complicated issue. Here's what I think might be happening, and I hope I'm wrong on this, okay? I hope I'm wrong on this. Oh, wait, I should point out, the Georgia Secretary of State has voted to certify the Georgia vote, but technically the governor of Georgia has to end up certifying it, and he has until 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Last I checked, he had not certified it, and he may not, but he likely will. Georgia Secretary of State is a Republican. The Georgia governor is a Republican. Secretary of State said yes. Governor has the ability to say no, and that poses interesting challenges if he does so. Also, Georgia is not enough. They really have to get Georgia, Pennsylvania, and maybe even a third state. The Secretary of State has halted the recertification now. Why do they keep changing their fucking minds? Just make up your fucking minds! I hate everybody in this process. I hate all of them. So, but even if the certification happens, I believe Trump is still within the margin of the recount in Georgia. So this is a temporary thing. Either way. But to have a meaningful recount, they need to get certain rulings in Georgia that will allow them to properly monitor the recount. Stuff that they shouldn't have to go to court for. They shouldn't have to go to court for it. So, what you recommend for whiskey bourbon beginners like myself? Man, I recommend the same bourbon. Basil Hayden's bourbon is a great beginner bourbon. Just get that. I'm not going to bother with anything else. Basil Hayden's bourbon. It's not too expensive. You're talking $40-45. It's a nice, smooth, mellow bourbon, and it's good. Easy to find anywhere. Jose Gonzalez says, I'm now enjoying a bottle of Patron, relaxing and being educated by you. And then he gave me one of these. Hey, buddy, thanks. Chris Ames says, Monticello. I say Monticello because. By the way, I do want to stick up for Rudy Giuliani here. Rudy Giuliani referenced My Cousin Vinny, and people are shitting on him for it. The scene he's talking about in My Cousin Vinny about qualifying a witness is really well done. It's one of the better done court scenes in movies. Like Rudy should not be criticized for that scene. Like that scene of My Cousin Vinny is one of the better done witness qualification scenes in any medium. It's great. It's great. He said he likes him because he's from Brooklyn. That's fine. But the scene that he references it's one of the most solid legal scenes in movie history. So, very, very silly. And Musit says, looks like the person who bought Kyle's gun made a straw purchase and lying on the ATF form 4473. I mean, that I don't know if that's actually what they're charging him for. That's a federal offense, not a state offense. And I think he's been charged in state court in Wisconsin. It's only a straw purchase if you intend to make a straw purchase. But if he intends to purchase it for himself and then eventually transfer it to Kyle at a later date when Kyle's legally able to own it, that's not a straw purchase. And I think that they have enough evidence to beat that charge. Hey, what's up, that Star Wars girl? How you doing, Anna? We got to talk sometime. I think I talked to you on like one stream. We should talk sometime. You should tell me why Mandalorian is good other than cleavage. Because, I'm with it on that alone, but other aspects are important. Automata says, when he loved deeply. He put everything in. Cursed Rosenbaum quotes of 2020. Automata says, wait, he had his morning and afternoon dose of medication but couldn't get more. Just how often this dude need to be eating pills to be stable. Dude, he's a pedophile who had drug addiction and domestic abuse problems. He needs more pills than whatever he had. Whatever his dose was, he needs more. Gina Carano's all the reason you need. I like Gina Carano. I was watching her when she when she entered MMA in, was it Strike Force or Elite XC on Showtime? I liked watching that stuff. It was good. It was good. Bruh 3.0 says assault slings. Automata says note that clip they had with What'd He Do was from Gage streaming. Not shown here. Kyle also said to him he was going to get police. Cal Clay says, did you hear? Spacey said to give Cuties the Oscar award. Oh no. He also said JLU anime Flash voice actor can't outrun bullets. Damn, I don't even know what that is. Oh, I'm supposed to ask chat to hit like. Hey, chat. I'm going to ask you to hit like on a stream where I drank a bunch and screamed at you and argued with you. Do it! Do it, or you hate America and you hate Trump and you want him to lose. You better hit like or you support Joe Biden. And you ain't black. You ain't fucking black if you don't hit like. God damn it! I get louder! Aurelianus says, I could be witty, but frick it, free Kyle. Not enough likes, you sons of bitches! Random Blaze says, you need to try Sugarland Shine Root Beer Moonshine, their peach moonshine. I also sent a page to Bainling that says that they also arrested the two that were firing into the air by Kyle. No, I know they arrested them. I do. Oh, God. Getting shrill and screaming is the trick to everything. Michael Tynan says, here's for the Griff, Nick, and Gina rocks. Did you guys see Undercover Brother? When Doogie Howser yells, I am not a sissy, and his voice cracks and goes into that high register, that's some of the funniest movie making ever. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. 200-watt studio says Nick. Oh, wait, no. I read that one. I read that one about... I'll read it again. You sound like the WP voice you were just mocking. Tucker thought he deserved the proof above the courts, claimed he was mad for no reason. Justin5914 says, welcome to Lawyer. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Carnut015, stop saying, say it loud. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. I paid for those classes. It made me sleep on a pissy mattress. 200-watt studio says, this election is a shit show. Life goes on. Love. He also says, Nick, fireball on me. Hey, thanks, brother. Super Iron Bob says, fighting your audience is lame. The audience needs to suck less, to be honest. Bad Vibe says, that name seems like a Grifter Supreme title. Gerard Garvin. Gerard Garvin says, calling a lawyer a grifter is redundant. Calling a politician a grifter is generous. Bad Vibe says, listen to the science. Whee! It's a freaking theory, not actually science. Angry Bainling says, Nick, pass this on to the Biden-Harris transition. I'll donate them all of the rupees or whatever. Javier Miedo says, with the Pennsylvania ruling for tossing out 2,000 ballots, can Trump use it as precedent to toss out all other undated, questionably dated ballots? Yes, maybe. They need to bring it. That needs to go to the Supreme Court. They don't have time to litigate an individual precincts on that. So hopefully. Bad Vibe says, note, dealers don't dabble in their own products. It's a bad business idea as the loss of profit isn't able to be recouped. This applies to legitimate business. 200-watt studio says, you just don't like losing arguments with us. I don't. There's too many of you. It's not fair. Racism. It's racism. to borrow it from Heel versus Babyface. Racisms. James Smith says, since the guy is a Muslim and African American, will he be a stat on the FBI hate crime data? Yes. Randstein says, there's a song that I highly recommend. It's called Yad by Bloodywood. It talks about loss and motivates you to keep pushing forward. Thank you for the recommendation. Conspiratorial Walnut says, Recaita Law, the guy who shot first during the Rittenhouse thing, was found and arrested. His name is Joshua J. Zeminski. He fired a warning shot. Legal advice, never, ever fire a warning shot, ever. Common Cure says, should people take a test to vote? What do you think? No. If you're going to issue a vote, I don't think there should be a test for it. I'm much more akin to consider the net contributor or net taxpayer requirement, but an actual poll test, no. Oh, damn it. Sauce says, will Kyle's trial go different if Biden is president? In theory, no. In practice, maybe. Shadows King 101 says, smash that dislike, simps. You can't dislike me. Nya says, I hit dislike for you, which since I'm probably on several lists, most likely helps you more. Automata says, speaking of the other folks at Kenosha, what's your opinion on warning shots fired behind someone's back directly up in the air? Never fire a warning shot. Ever. Never. Never fire it. Fighting Slug says, I was black after voting Trump, but that mini rant turned me into Ryan Long. Redrick Lassier says, hello, Nikki. I'm behind in the stream. Oh, you're in for a treat. But the mask test reminds me of the Flat Earth documentary where they disprove themselves. Was that the one where the guy was supposed to fly up and hit the dome, but he didn't? He just blew up or whatever. Tyler Weisbrod says, come for a nice, relaxed chat. You should know by now that when I say that, I'm lying. When I say that, I am lying. Finally, Malik Foxon says, you might have misinterpreted my last chat. I was talking about the idea he missed it. Not so much the fact, because so far he didn't miss it. But mostly pointing out we can't demand they follow the rules and be upset when the rules later work against us. Yeah, man. Consistency is important. All right. Here we go. I'm going to play the outro. Monday, Mark Kern, a.k.a. Grums, a.k.a. World of Warcraft developer, former Blizzard employee, based Mark Kern will be on the show, working on getting Justin Wang on the show and other guests. I may be appearing on Uncivil Law's show this coming week. If I am, I will promote it. He's invited me. I just have to see if the time works out. And I will be talking more about the YouTube monetization as more details comes out and I can get some legal opinions on it from other lawyers. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Here's the outro. I love you even when I yell at you. Same thing I tell my kids. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight.
Hit like!
With his like! Laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes madder, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have
BK says, go on EFAP, you massive. Talk to Mahler.
Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a bow, more of that frog. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So hear lost planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the dawn better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plenty folks, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the dawn better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have